Hello, everyone. My name is Courtney Pollock, and I'm the Customer Marketing Coordinator for SWK Technologies. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar, Go from Chaos to Control with Advanced Document Management, presented by Caleb Castelwall. Before we get started, let's go over some housekeeping items. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise to a minimum. However, throughout the webinar, you can ask any questions you have. If you'd like to submit a question, look for the questions section of your GoToWebinar, and we'll answer all questions at the end of the presentation. We're also recording this presentation, and it will be distributed to all attendees, as well as those people who registered but were unable to attend today. You're also able to change your layout in your GoToWebinar panel with a drop-down. You can choose to focus on the presentation, see the presentation and presenters, or change the layout to your liking. Finally, we'd appreciate your participation in our polls and closing survey. With that said, we're thrilled that you've taken some time out of your busy day to be with us on this session. SWK is here to help you fulfill your vision of a smarter and easier way to run your business by providing you tools, support, software, and industry knowledge whenever you need it. So whether you're here to explore a new solution or you're just here to learn, we'd like to encourage you to ask any questions you have while the experts are here. And as a reminder, SWK is constantly sharing important updates and software tips and tricks on our social media channels. You can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube for our recorded webinars and also more educational content. With that said, I'm going to hand it over to Caleb for the main event.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney, and welcome everyone. Again, thank you for taking time out of your busy days to learn a little bit more about document management. And ultimately, what we're going to be talking about is not just document management, but digital transformation. And digital transformation, gosh, has been kind of a buzzword in business technology for the last 10 years, but it still rings true. And all different organizations are at different stages in their digital transformation journeys, right? Some have adopted, cloud solutions for different business units and are well on their way. Some are, looking to make that jump from, legacy systems, doing mostly, reports on Excel to more comprehensive systems. And that's why you have an awesome partner like SWK to guide you through that technology journey. But today we'll be talking about a few business needs that you may have. One is access to critical information. Do remote workers have the ability to access the critical information they need, whether they're at home or in the field? We'll also be talking about efficient workflows. And when we're talking about workflows, we're specifically talking about documents. So are documents able to be routed and approval processes able to be streamlined? We'll also talk about reducing the operational costs. There's lots of costs related to document management. Think about external filing services that you may have, filing cabinets, the time it takes to retrieve documents, whether that's from physical means such as filing cabinets or in a network file share without real structure behind those documents. And we'll also be talking about visibility, security, and compliance. Are your documents secure? Is there a way to restrict the access of certain members of your organization from seeing certain documents? We'll talk about all of these needs here today. So take a minute and ask yourself these three questions. One, does your current system require a lot of touching, moving, and filing of documents, right? Are you printing and then rescanning to then send via email, or just walk a physical paper down to someone's desk for them to go ahead and review that document, put their stamp of approval? Are your approval processes manual or inefficient, right? Is there a way to see how many documents, whether that's an invoice, an order, contract, are on someone's desk for their review and approval? And do you spend a lot of time doing data entry, whether that's data entry off of invoices into the invoice entry screens of your respective ERPs, or data entry off of orders? into the order entry screens of your respective ERPs. So we'll have a poll here. We want to get your feedback. What are your current business needs, right? We had those four that we talked about. Is it A, access to critical information, B, more efficient workflows, C, to reduce operational costs? I mean, I think everyone falls under that bucket. Or D, visibility, security, and compliance of your documents. Or is it E, is it something else? Courtney,
Thank
do
you,
we have
everyone
any
who's.
preliminary findings here?
Yes, it is very active. So thank you, everyone who's participating in the poll. Right now, it's a bit across the board, but a clear leader is definitely more efficient workflows.
Okay.
So we've got a
Okay.
bit of everything, but
Okay. A bit of everything, but yeah, we can focus on that part more specifically, just because that's the business need of a lot of people here. So that's awesome.
yep. So thanks for your participation. If you're still putting your answers in, I'm going to close the poll out in just a second. Okay. So I'm not sure if you could see those results, Caleb, but we've got 37% access to critical information, 84% more efficient workflows, 32 reducing operational cost, and 26 visibility, security, and compliance. And I'm sure some people selected some multiple issues that they're
Yep.
dealing with.
Okay. Great. We'll focus on workflows quite a bit then. So I'll take you through what DocLink can do. So briefly explain what DocLink is. DocLink is a document management and workflow system that integrates to your ERP, that SWK services, and we connect, we streamline, and we deliver. So we're able to connect with your ERPs and also processes outside of your ERP. So things don't have to be finance related to be stored within DocLink. We also have the ability to streamline the operations that documents may take. This doesn't have to be an accounts payable. It could be a contract management workflow. It could be a service ticket, a work order. There's all different types of opportunities here to streamline document workflows. And then we also have a sophisticated delivery. So being able to deliver documents externally automatically when you need them, right? Maybe an AR invoice going out with a supplemental documentation such as a signed delivery ticket or a spec sheet or an order confirmation going out to your clients, things of that nature. So how does DocLink work? I love this visual diagram that just gives us a conceptual view into DocLink. You see here the middle where there's our logo with the lock in the middle of the logo. That represents the DocLink repository. Think of that as your virtual filing cabinet where all documents and content within your organization can be stored. To get documents into DocLink, there's a multitude of ways that we do that where it's coming externally. So thinking of a document coming from one of your partners or vendors or customers, we can capture that via an email address, monitored email address, read the data through OCR, or if it's coming in, maybe a receiving document, we can scan it in and link it to the documents it needs to be linked to. Internal documents such as AR invoices that you're printing out of your ERP, such as purchase orders that you're printing out of your ERP, checks that you're printing out of your ERP. We can automatically capture those through a print capture. So every document, whether it's coming in externally or produced internally, can be stored within DocLink. After documents are within the repository, a lot of times there's a process that happens, whether that's a three-way matching process for PO-based invoices, a multi-step approval process for non-PO invoices, whether a customer PO is reviewed by a salesperson before an order is created in the ERP. So there's all sorts of workflow processes we can help accommodate within the workflow module. At the end of the day, we are two-way sync with the ERP. So any data that needs to be imported into an ERP form, we're able to do that. And also, We're able to look at all of the customer data in your ERP, vendor, and GL chart of accounts, so that we're in constant synchronization with your ERP system of choice. You're able to either retrieve your documents from the ERP via some view documents links, and we'll go over that later, or you're also able to log into DocLink on a web client and retrieve your documents from there. Okay, we'll go through the access to critical information first. So the key here is having access to your data and therefore documents from anywhere, anytime you need it, right? With any department. So DocLink, being a DocLink document and data repository, allows you to store AP, AR, HR documents for easy access for whoever needs to be able to review and see those documents. Being able to have essentially located um, uh, repository helps with delivering documents automatically. Think of, I'm delivering an AR invoice, and it always has to go out with a deliver receipt to say that the product has been delivered, to minimize your customer service requests. Because we have those deliver receipts and AR invoices centrally located, we're able to leverage those relationships to send out automatically. We also have that two-way sync. So having access to documents inside your ERP and out of your ERP. DocLink also helps you minimize data entry. I cannot tell you how many calls I have with clients that have been able to free up hours and hours and hours of not only their days but their team's days with DocLink, because they're able to minimize data entry. So how do we do this? We automatically capture the fields that you're typically doing data entry on, right? Think of your vendor information, your line item information, everything that comes on an invoice that you're typically having to enter into your ERP with keystrokes. We're also able to reduce the manual reconciliations and matching. So when it comes to, a PO based invoice and you're wanting to match against what was purchased, what was received, and what was on the invoice, we're able to do that reconciliation leveraging technology rather than having someone review each and every document before it's entered. Due to our deep integration as well, you're also able to edit things in your ERP, and it flows over into DocLink. So if you ever need to make changes to an invoice, purchase order, one of your customer orders, you're able to make those edits, and those edits will flow into DocLink. So there's data sync there. I'll talk a bit about Pinder's Customs Brokerage. So luckily, Pinder's Custom Brokerage went live with DocLink just about a month before the pandemic. And they were a very heavy, paper-intensive company. They had, tons of filing cabinets. They were able to, really reduce those filing cabinets so folks could work remotely. So they had 99% of their paper eliminated. That 1%, they're a customs and brokerage firm. So because they needed to have some physical documents for customs, they were completely remote during COVID. So they were able to still operate remotely, and they were more effective with every task, and they had a reduction of time before paying customs. You can see that quote right there speaks for themselves. Benjamin Pinder, their people can instantaneously have all the documents they need at their fingertips, whether they're in the office or working remotely. Okay, we flew through that, and I want to spend some more time on this, efficient workflows. So what is workflow? And workflow can manifest in lots of different departments and processes, right? The benefit of DocLink is we're not beholden to just one process. So We are not just an invoice to pay um, system, yet that's a great use case for DocLink, right? It's a great use case for DocLink, but there's a multitude of use cases, whether that's an AR invoice review before it's sent out, whether that's a purchase requisition workflow. Really, any document can be put through a workflow that it needs to go through, whether that's for some sort of compliancy standards for your industry, and so forth. But for now, let's focus on the invoice to pay process with DocLink. So what happens, right? An AP team imports an invoice. DocLink, what it does is reads the data off of the document and can automatically route that invoice for approval. So based on the smart capture technology, we're able to see maybe it's from a particular vendor and the invoice is above $5,000. So then DocLink knows, hey, it has to be routed to these 3 people for approval. After it gets all of the approvals needed, dictated based off of the workflow, we can automatically import invoice to your ERP, and your payment can be issued in your ERP. And finally, we capture a record of that payment so that not only do you have your invoice, you have your payment linked to your invoice. When your vendor comes calling and says, I'm asking about invoice 123, when am I going to get my payment? You can quickly refer to either the check, the ACH, or electronic payment that went out to pay that invoice to settle that issue with your vendor. Here are a few ways that our customers leverage our approvals. So if you're a high volume approver, say you get, 5 or 10 documents to approve each and every day, you may want to have something like this. This is a summary notification telling you how many documents are in your queue for approval, right? So you can get that summary notification, and also managers can get this summary notification based off of their employees and how many documents are in their queues, so that they can push, poke, and prod them to get their work done. We can also do these one-off email approvals as well. So you can get an AP invoice in your inbox. You're able to open that uh, invoice up. We do a PDF attachment of that, review the invoice, and then click those approve or deny links. When you click those approve or deny links, it'll automatically go into the next step of the workflow based off of that, right? So if it's approved, it may need to go to someone else. If it's denied, it may go back to AP to figure out what to do with that invoice. And not only can you do approvals from an email, but also mobile device. We have a mobile app that's good with iOS and Android. You're able to access your workflows in the mobile app and do your approvals, denials, and do info notes as well within that mobile application. And last but not least, you can also log into DocLink's web client and see the documents that are in your queue for review and approval, right? So there's multitude of workflows, but you can only see the ones that land in your queue, and you can click on those documents, assign the GL coding of those documents, and do your approvals within DocLink. So you may be asking, well, what happens when our CFO takes his annual trip to Scottsdale, Arizona to go golfing, and he's out of pocket? Maybe there's no service on the golf course. What happens to all the documents that he's supposed to review and approve? Well, you can delegate workflow authority while he's away. So maybe those the invoices that typically went to your CFO now go to your COO or CEO, so that invoices can still be processed and paid. We'll review another case study. This is Herman Goldner Company out of Pennsylvania, and they were able to um, automatically route 80% of their invoices to approvers, right? So leveraging our automation, you can imagine how much time that saves to automatically route invoices to approvers rather than have you decide, okay, who does this have to go to and why? They were able to utilize email for receiving invoices from vendors. OCR was able to read and index the key fields on those documents. Documents are automatically routed based off of what was read on OCR. And unlike their basic file server digital archiving system, search and retrieval capabilities were much improved with DocLink because they had an easy to use interface that was simple to search up documents. So they increased their accuracy of invoices. They were more effective with communication through all departments, and they had a significant time saving here. Okay, next we'll dive into reducing the operational costs. And these operational costs sometimes are hard to quantify when we are a business in a silo and we don't have the sort of financial analysts that we need to see what costs our business are incurring. Luckily, we have some great advisement firms such as PricewaterhouseCoopers that has done some research based off of thousands of firms, and roughly this is what they found: cost $20 to file a document, $120 to retrieve a document, and $220 to recreate a document. Now, I'm not going to lie, a few years ago when I saw this slide, it seemed a little bit outrageous. But as I talked with more and more customers and prospective customers about their specific processes, such as doing a return, and whenever they had to process a return, this company I worked with, it would take them 3 to 4 hours to find all the documents they needed to find to then process that return. So you can imagine 3 to 4 hours with their AP manager who is getting paid a pretty good amount. That's costing them a lot of money for simple retrieving of a document. So why automate accounts payable? Really, accounts payable is a really low-hanging fruit for reducing those operational costs, right? AP is a cost center. So as much as we can automate AP, the better, right? So based off of Ardent Partners study, they found that with traditional processing, it was about $15 to process a single invoice. With a sophisticated AP automation solution like DocLink, they brought it down to about $287 here. Not only that cost, but the time to process a single invoice went down from 17 days to about 4 days. I mean, I've talked with a lot of distribution companies and manufacturers that the faster they can pay their vendor, they can take advantage of discounts, right? So you can take advantage of an early pay discount to save money there. So lots of statistics here to prove that AP automation really does save you money, right? The delta is about $12 per invoice. So if you're processing 10,000 invoices a year, right, that's $120,000 in savings that could be possible with an AP automation solution. So we'll talk about a few features and functionalities that help with AP automation within DocLink. So we have a data capture engine that we call our Smart Capture module. And what this does is takes a look at each and every invoice that comes into your organization, whether that's going to your dedicated email inbox, such as invoices@yourcompany.com, whether that's being scanned from invoices coming in via mail, or any other way you're receiving invoices. They can go into this Smart Capture module. We can automatically read the data off of this invoice We use AI and machine learning, so there's no templates that have to be built in the background. The system gets smarter and smarter as it sees more and more of your invoices. We vendor validate against your ERP, so we're able to see that yes, this vendor is already set up in your SWK ERP of choice, and read all the data that typically someone would be typing in electronically. So what happens after this, right? Well, if it's a non-PO invoice, it doesn't need to get matched up against a PO and receipt. Well, I can go straight into an approval cycle. So straight into approval cycle for approved and denials. And then after this, it can be imported straight into your ERP of choice automatically. So I'm showing here an Acumatica integration. So within Acumatica, we put these view documents buttons. You see I'm on a purchase order screen in Acumatica, and I'm able to pull up a purchase order, the receipt, and the bill for that particular PO. This will work the same with any SWK ERP that you have, right? Whether it's Sage 100, any of the Sage products, we support the same functionality. We could dive into another case study, and I really like this case study because it may represent, and it does represent a lot of the conversations I have with our customers. Growth, right? If your company is growing and you are processing more invoices, you're ordering more raw materials to make more products, or you're just involved in more things, so you have more expenditures and more invoices, and the invoice volume is getting a little bit too much for your staff to handle. A lot of times it's, hey, either we're going to have to hire someone, or we can implement a technology to help us with this. So that's what Thornburg Investment Management did. They were, going to hire someone for about $40,000 a year, but instead implemented DocLink. They were also able to save a $7,500 on storage fees, and they were not only um, able to help with Thornburg Investment Management, but also all their three subsidiaries as well. So DocLink's very helpful for multi-company. If you have multiple companies set up within your ERP system, we mirror that setup, and you can work with multiple companies there. Okay, last but not least, we'll cover visibility, security, and compliance. So knowing where documents are, being able to safeguard those vital records, and produce documents instantly. So you may be asking yourself, is everything in my business secure? And I am in compliance? Do I have all my documents saved when the auditor comes and needs to pull everything related to a certain account code, things of that nature? So we'll talk about visibility and reporting here. With DocLink, you're able to monitor workflow statuses. And when I say monitor workflow statuses, I mean your administrator has the ability to have a 10,000-foot view of DocLink to see where each and every document is within the workflow. Not only that, but because we have the approval pane on each document, we're able to manage the audit trails as well. So we're able to see who touched each document, who approved it, and at what time. With DocLink, you have a living and breathing reporting system because you have all of your invoices in one place. So you're able to improve your financial reporting with that, and streamline intercompany accounting, whether it's multiple locations or multiple departments. So let's talk about security. So DocLink has the ability to lock down security based off of multiple factors. If you have multiple companies within your ERP system, and you have separate folks that work at each company, you can lock down documents based off of the company. So if I work at company A, I can only see the documents in company A. Furthermore, you can even lock down based off of department. For example, I'm in sales. I can't see anything that has to do with our accounts payable, what we're paying vendors. What I can see is I can see the contracts that I have with my particular accounts, right? And that's all I'm locked down to see. You can also lock down document type. So um, uh, based off of a certain document type, whether that's purchase requisition, invoice, maybe a sensitive contract that only a few people are allowed to see, you can lock that down. And also property values. So you can restrict certain property values for people to see as well. So one question you may want to ask yourself here is are you in compliance? If an auditor, surprise auditor came tomorrow, would you be able to give auditors access to all the documents they need to review and the sophisticated activity reports that go along with those documents, whether that has to do with some sort of industry's compliance restrictions? Speaking of audits, we had another case study talk about the Agor companies. And the Agor companies purchased DocLink for the sole reason that they failed a sales tax audit. Failed a sales tax audit, and they had to pay a $100,000 penalty on top of the cost of having auditors in their office. After this, they said, hey, we have to get something in place. They got DocLink in place. Now they had a single repository for all their documents, so they knew that they were able to produce invoice packets when auditors needed to see them. So that gave them direct access for auditors to review docs. The next time when their annual audit came around, they passed with flying colors. There was no additional penalties incurred, and they were able to simplify that for their auditors. Not only did they get that benefit, right, $100,000 savings, but also being able to have AP automation and all the benefits that go with our workflow approval and integration features. So let's talk about how DocLink can impact everyone in your organization. For those of you who may be familiar with DocLink, you know that we're great in AP. But when you're considering document management for your organization, it's better to select a solution that can be used for far greater processes than AP automation. Because if you just select an AP automation solution, the next time a certain problem comes up and you're looking for a software to solve, you're going to have to go through the whole different buying process again, select different software, and then you have a multitude of softwares all integrating to your ERP. And with DocLink, one solution can do a lot more than just AP. So what are some other examples besides AP automation, three-way matching, and beyond? So accounts receivable. This is still a huge use case for us. The ability to manage the whole, we'll call it quote to cash process and have all the documents for that in our system, be able to send out invoices alongside supplemental documentation, human resource document management, being able to manage all of your HR documents in one place, your legal team. We have some specific functions just for legal, such as version control. So when you're working on different versions of documents, you can save those within DocLink, check those out. No one else can work on them, and then check them in, and they're saved as a new version. Not only that, but if you're looking at into specific text on a contract, we're able to search off of the text of the documents. This is very helpful as I'm looking through the contracts I have with different DocLink users, because I'm able to look up sales order automation, and I can pull up every contract that we've ever done with a client to do sales order automation, and that's how I can do my research on different use cases there. Not only that, but we can monitor expiration and retention dates for legal documents. So if a document expires on December 31st, I'm able to code in that I will be notified 90, 60, and 30 days from that contract expiring so that I can do something about it. Field service, because we have mobility access, your field service employees are able to see documents in the field. Maybe they need to record service call details or upload images and sign receipts instantly. They're able to do that. Or maybe you have a field technician that needs to take a picture of a broken part for a purchase requisition or a work order. They can do that as well. Facility management. So think of maintenance service request work, the ability to have DocLink mobile out there in the field so that folks can use that, take pictures, access documents when they need to, etc. And last but not least, sales order processing. So you saw how our data capture module has the ability to extract data off of invoices. We use that same model to extract data off of incoming POs. So you're able to capture your incoming POs. We're able to read all the data off of the document, make a translation, right? Maybe the order coming from your customer is not the same as the order that's in your system or the item that's in your system. We're able to make that translation and seamlessly enter that information into your order entry screen. Okay, so some things to think about here is document management in workflow. This is important to business process optimization and cost savings. Also, document management workflow can be integral to your strategic planning initiatives, whether you're going to do acquisitions, you're going into new business sectors where you're going to be growing. Document management workflow can help here. A DocLink can grow to fit your needs. So with us, you can start small. You can start with a need that presents itself now, knowing that in the future, when you need to expand out into contract management, when you need a more robust HR document management system, we can grow to fit those needs. Hard and soft costs. So manual processes are expensive, both in hard and soft dollar calculations, right? We went through a few studies, Price Waterhouse Coopers, Ardent Partners, that had those dollars associated with processing documents. So think about processes and where DocLink can help fit in your strategy. And last but not least, I'd implore you to map out your processes. So if you don't have a schema already for how invoices are paid, how orders are completed, how different documents flow, I'd implore you to map that out. Do some internal research. See what the cost is. See how much time people are spending to review documents, to print, scan, send, all of the above, and then figure out what's broken, right? Figure out where the real bottlenecks are, and if DocLink or another solution can be a good solution to fix it. So this can also be used to set your budget, right? And used when you're talking with us or another solution provider to figure out if DocLink's going to provide that ROI. I mean, we had some case studies. We've produced ROI within 6 to 9 months with all those case studies that we talked about today. But let's see for yourself, right? See what the cost is for your manual intervention of documents and if DocLink can help. Okay, we have one more poll here. So Courtney, maybe open up the poll here. What did you learn from today's session? A, DocLink provides capabilities for in-office as well as remote workers. B, DocLink has a tight integration with your ERP. C, DocLink works across many departments. Or maybe D, you're thrilled at what you saw. You really think that that a solution like DocLink can help, and you want us to contact you.
Great. Thank you, everyone who has answered the poll so far. We've got some answers across the board, so that's great. You guys are obviously paying attention. We've got a lot of questions that came in, Caleb, throughout the presentation, so I hope you're ready for a good Q&A.
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. So I think I'm just going to give it a few more seconds. We're going to close this pull out, and I think we're about to dive into Q&A. Okay, so the poll is closed. Thank you for everyone who answered. It was looking pretty much across the board, so that's great.
Okay. Yeah, let's dive into some of those questions.
Awesome. So, I think the first question is, can DocLink be used outside of finance? I know we just touched on some of those points.
Yes, yeah, that must have came through earlier. Yes, absolutely. The beauty of DocLink is weirdly we were born as a document management workflow system, and then we grew into the AP space and have been around for a long time. So, based off of the infrastructure of DocLink and I call it almost like a framework, right? It's a framework for managing any document and content that you have. So, right, we're not like your typical AP automation solution where that's all we do. Um, it's just a framework for that. So, hopefully that answers your question.
Great. Our next question is this all web-based or is there an on-premise version available?
Great question. So we have a multitude of deployment options to fit every need. So we have our cloud option that a lot of our say Acumatica users go with. They have their ERP in the cloud. They have DocLink in the cloud. That's great. We also have an on-premise version. So you can install DocLink on-premise if you have a restriction that's how it needs to be, or you can host it with a third-party provider. So really, there's every option um, for each need there.
Great. And Caleb, as we go through these questions, if you don't mind moving the slides forward to
Oh,
our slide that has some information up in case anyone needs the reminder of, how to reach out. Um, Next question is, we process a lot of orders. Can DocLink be used to automate order entry?
yes, absolutely. We touched on incoming AP invoices from your vendors, but the smart capture module works the same way with customer POs that come in, and we have integrations to those order entry screens. So we have automatic imports that we can do into those order entry screens at whatever ERP you have.
And to build on that question, can this be used to allow attaching documents to different screens in Sage 100? For example, documents attached to an SO or PO or invoice.
SO, PO, and invoice with Sage 100. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we integrate to all those screens. So it's a little bit different than attachments. That's kind of the ERP way to do it, right? Is you have paper clips and there's documents attached to each record. We link documents based off of association. So let's take a sales order, for example. Every document that we have an index property value for that sales order number will be linked to that sales order screen with a view documents button. So whether that is a customer PO that came in, the sales order, the picking ticket, the packing slip, the invoice going out, everything related to that sales order can be recalled based off of that association.
Awesome. And then also, is DocLink able to upload credit and $0 documents that will go through the approval process and import to ERP?
Credit and $0 documents. I may have to have some more context on that before I answer that. So maybe we can take that offline, Courtney, and we can get back to that person with an answer.
Definitely. Yes, if that was your question, we'll definitely have one of your rep reach out to you, and we can go deeper into that question. Another kind of, specific ones is, are invoices uploaded using OCR, or is there a data entry team manually keying in the documents?
It's a good question. 95% of our clients use OCR. So, and OCR is kind of the old word for it, optical character recognition, and we call it our data capture module. But if you use our OCR module, then you won't have your AP team keying in the invoices to your ERP. That's extracting all the data you need off of the invoice. With our forms capability, you're able to assign the GL codes within DocLink, so there's automatic import and there's no manual keying of invoices into your ERP. But we still do have some clients that use us without OCR, and they just use DocLink for the workflow and approval for maybe different documents outside of AP. Um, so, but yeah, typically everyone wants OCR these days.
Okay, sounds like there's some options there. Um, kind of wrapping up, I think we've got two more questions for you. So, this person would like to know how DocLink imports over to Sage 100 by accounting periods, etc. So maybe something we need to dive deeper into, but if you're able to touch on that.
Yeah, really, it's we cache the data. So what we do is based off of when documents import, they import just as if someone was entering those into your ERP, right? So once they go through the approval process, geocoding process, and end up in what I'll call a ready for import status within DocLink, uh, at a regular interval, whether that's once a day, twice a day, once an hour, uh, DocLink will send everything in that ready for import status over to the AP side in your ERP. It goes in there as an unposted transaction, right? So it's in there as an unposted transaction, and then from there, you can allocate those transactions into different time periods if needed. But it's essentially the exact same as if you're doing your data entry manually. It's just we're pouring that information over automatically. So I don't know if that fully answers your question. So maybe we can set up something to get back to you and get some more info.
Yes, and I definitely want to reiterate, if you have any question that needs, a deeper conversation, or you want to, learn specifically in the scope of your business how DocLink can help, definitely let us know in the post-webinar survey or reach out to your SWK rep, and we'll make sure to connect you with the right people. So, Caleb, the final question I have for you, which I think is probably a really good one to wrap things up, is how does DocLink handle duplicate documents that come into DocLink from vendors?
It's a great question. So we have a duplicate flagging technology. So we're able to take a look at the vendor that's validated against your ERP, the invoice number that's coming in, and maybe a third variable such as total. And if there is a match that says, hey, this is from the same vendor, the same invoice number, and the same total, we're going to flag that and we're going to put it into a duplicate status of the workflow. Someone can be notified that, hey, there's a possible duplicate here, and you need to go in here and review it. At that point, it's up to you what you do, right? You can keep it there as a duplicate. A lot of times you purge it, we'll purge it from the system. But yeah, we can flag duplicates. We don't automatically delete them. We'll put them into a separate spot of the workflow, send an email notification to the person that needs to review that, so that you're not doing any, entering duplicate invoices in your ERP.
Awesome. Well, that is all the questions we have for today. Really great Q&A, everyone. Thank you in the audience for submitting those questions throughout. And Caleb, thank you for a really informative and thorough presentation. So just want to say a quick thank you to everyone for taking some time out of your busy day to be with us. We hope you found it informative. Let us know if you'd like to be contacted by our SWK rep to get some more information and see how this fits into your software solution. And we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you
Thank you
all.
all.
Bye.